Welcome back to Sudang Gaming Channel. This is a channel specializing in instructions on how to build characters, playing styles as well as instructions on all types of games. If you are a Vietnamese, please visit the link in the description to go to the 100% Vietnamese Sudang Gaming VN channel made by myself. Thanks for your support. In today's video, I am pleased to introduce to you a new grace appearing in DLC 2 Conqueror of GongGong, which is Grace of GongGong. The unique feature of this grace is that the damage you deal increases with the amount of health you lose. This allows you to kill the boss with just one falta strike. In this build, I use 5 pieces of Grace of GongGong, combined with 1 piece of set bonus requirement mitigation. In addition, to optimize performance, you can also combine 1 more piece of Grace of lingbao tianzun the pure one. First we will talk about how the build works. Look at the effect of Grace of GongGong. Its 4th effect increases damage to health based on the percent of health you have lost. Here's an example. I used martial arts with 100% health and caused 478 damage to the boss, but when you lose about 50% of your health, the damage increases to 627, that is, when you lose 50% of your health the damage increases to about 130%. Not only that, the 5th effect of Grace of GongGong, GongGong's Wicked Sin, only activates when you are in a low health state. When the health bar flashes, then the total damage caused will increase greatly. In addition, when you use martial arts you will receive this buff effect, and this effect reduces the amount of damage received and increases the damage to the spirit. Here's an example. I used martial art when I lost nearly 60% of my health, causing 1614 damage, but when my health was almost gone, the amount of damage I dealt was 2638, an increase of 160%. But the most notable point of this build is the increased damage for both falta strike. Let's look at the numbers below. When I perform falta strike with full health the total damage is 4142, but when I performed the falta strike while losing about 2/3 of my health the damage amounted to 9076, an increase of more than 200%. And amazing. In addition, using a piece of Grace of lingbao tianzun the pure one will cause a negative effect on the boss, called spirit vulnerability. This effect will reduce the boss's maximum spirit each time you use martial arts. This causes the boss to quickly run out of spirit and fall into winded. Regarding the main weapon, I chose to use longswords for reasons. First, the longsword's martial art focuses on dealing high damage to health and spirits, and most of the martial art have the ability to inflict stun and lock. Second, longswords will always have an earth scale. This is very important for my build. I want to explain why the earth virtue is especially important for this build. Note this is only my personal opinion. If there is something incorrect, please leave a comment below so I can make changes in the next versions. To increase the damage of this build, health loss is inevitable and your damage increases the more health you lose. However, when you wear light armor, you need to be extremely careful because with just 2 to 3 attacks from the boss, you can die before you can damage the boss. Because of this, I prioritize wearing heavy armor to avoid that unfortunate situation from happening. When looking at the damage, if you lose 50% of your health, the amount of damage you cause is still very large. Therefore, in this video, I will prioritize wearing heavy armor to minimize health loss. This means you need to raise your earth points to be able to wear heavy armor, and this cannot be avoided. In addition, in the list of earth wizardry spells there is a spell called Boulder Knuckles. The character will unleash a powerful punch. The damage of this spell depends on your earth attack power, and the more health you lose, the higher the damage of Boulder Knuckles will be. This means you need to raise your earth stats and lose more health to increase the damage of the Boulder Knuckles spell. That's why this spell is very suitable for this build. For this reason, longswords are a very suitable weapon for this build. Some martial arts suitable for this build are Dividing River, Deceptive Assault, Serpent Slayer, Crushing Subjugation. Depending on your personal preferences, you can choose martial art accordingly. Now, we will move on to the showcase so you can better understand how this build works. Don't miss the important part, increasing stat points and choosing effects for equipment, in the next part of the video.
I trust you are prepared. Then let us cross blades! There's such strength in your blows. I commend you, but I will not yield. As the leader of the Swen clan, I will prevail upon you with all my might. You're strong. I'll give you that much. I'm being overpowered. I must strike back. My shame shall be felt for generations if I am brought to knee here.
Now, we will focus on increasing the stat points for this build. Earth Virtue, raise the maximum to 175 points and ensure that weight is below 30% to reach agility A. This not only helps you avoid spirit penalties when using martial art, but also increases the weapon's attack and increases damage from the Boulder Knuckles spell. Fire Virtue, this point helps reduce the amount of spirit consumed when using martial arts and increases the weapon's attack. Please note that because my longswords have a fixed effect damage shift fire, so the main scale of this weapon will change to the fire stat, so increasing the fire stat points will help us increase the weapon's attack. In case you use another longsword weapon, raise the stat follow of main scale of longsword you use. Metal Virtue, you can raise 30 points. This is the soft cap to take advantage of the spirit reduction when using magic skills. However, you can also use all the remaining points to increase the weapon's attack. With Virtue, the only reason is to increase the amount of health high because as explained at the beginning of the video, the fourth effect of Grace of GongGong is the amount of damage dealt increases based on the percent of health you lose. So, the higher your health, the greater the damage when you lose health. Water Virtue, there is no need to raise points in this stat. Below is a guide to choosing effects on your equipment. Main weapons, 2 priority premium effect lines as follows. Melee attack power, increases weapon attack and also increases the damage of martial arts. Damage dealt, increases damage for both normal attacks, martial arts, falta strike, and even earth wizardry spells. In case you do not want to use earth magic, you can replace this effect with melee attack damage. Second weapon and second ranged weapon, you can use it as you like, as long as you make sure you have enough Grace of GongGong equipment pieces for this build. Note that all special effects of these 2 items will not be counted, unless you use them in place of your main weapon and main ranged weapon. The main ranged weapon I use, Spirit Damage, to increase spirit damage, making the boss quickly fall into winded. Stone Attack Power, increases earth magic damage, specifically the magic I'm using here Boulder Knuckles. Damage received, reduces damage taken. For example, without this effect, you lose 500 health when hit by a boss, but if you have 10% damage received, you only lose 450 health. With the helmet equipped, I use the power gain buff effect to increase the damage when performing attacks including normal attacks, using martial arts and falta strike. For armor, we should choose the extend spirit disruption duration effect, to extend the duration when the boss in winded. For arms, we should choose the debuff damage amplification effect when successful in deflect red skills, because the damage amplification effect, in addition to making monsters receive more damage, also helps monsters increase attack. Causing this effect is like a double-edged sword, so I only use it when successfully deflecting the red skill because this will help us reduce the chance of being attacked by monsters. For legs, you can use spirit gain from normal attack to increase the amount of spirit when performing normal attacks. For accessories, focus on the attack power effect. If you don't have it, you can prioritize using martial arts damage or damage dealt. As for the selection of divine beasts, here, I prioritize using divine beast Tengshi for the following reasons. Spirit damage to enemies with negative effects. This effect helps increase spirit damage when monsters are debuffed. Power drop on enemy upon wizardry spell effect. When you use wizardry spell, it causes the monster to receive the power drop negative effect, causing the boss to take less damage when attacking you. This helps us become more tanky and reduces the side effects of the damage amplification debuff. Effect increases wizardry spell damage. Because of these points, Tengshi is a very suitable choice for this build. The final part of this build involves using wizardry spells. Devouring Flame, used to connect combos and create continuous attack chains, increasing damage to monsters. Amplify damage, similar to the damage amplification effect, this spell buffs yourself, increasing damage by about 20 to 25%. However, you will also receive more damage from the boss. A wise strategy is to wait until the boss falls, then activate Amplify damage and use Falta strike to take advantage of the increased damage without taking too much damage in return from the boss. Boulder Knuckles, used after performing a Falta strike, the more health lost, the greater the magic damage dealt. Important note, use the Overpower Burst spell to increase the damage allowed for the next use, and remember to use the spell before using Boulder Knuckles. Stone Weapon, used to apply earth magic to weapons, increasing earth magic damage. This video ends here, and I am Sudang Gaming. Wishing you luck and success in your Wolong adventures. And don't forget to click the like and subscribe button to help me more motivate to make the following videos better and more attractive. Goodbye and see you in the next video.